Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, buna, and privyet. It's really, really good to be with you again, and we are going to have a lot of fun today because we have a very special guest, and it's Sabine, and she is a business strategist. So before we dig into our topic for the day, Sabine, welcome. And please, will you jump right in and tell us more about who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Samia. It's great having that you have me here today. I'm very excited. I would love these kind of interviews, but then I'm always thinking about the audience around what would they really enjoy, right? So I don't like a lot of fluff and stuff. So I'm going to actually be sharing a lot of truth bombs and a lot of insights from my business. I've been in business for like 10 years, and I've not only worked with female entrepreneurs, but also in boardrooms. So I have actually two businesses. One is obviously related to female entrepreneurs, startup and growth around the Content Growth Academy, basically. And on the other hand, I actually run the Empowerment Portal, which is an online platform for organizations and teams, basically to help with post-COVID recovery, which is pretty hot at the moment, as you can imagine, and with all the political developments. People do need the support because there's a lot of anxiety out there in the world. So I'm all about inspiring others and just sort of trying to shine a light, right? It's not always easy, even I'm feeling it right now, but I want to show up and sort of be here to sort of really support, motivate, and maybe give a few hints and tips today as well around how to do that.
Nice. I love it. And you just mentioned about how you have multiple projects going on, and I know you're a mom, and you're a very busy person. And one of the things you're really excellent at is managing all of these multiple projects and things that are going on in your life. And so I would love to talk to you more about that. How do you make that happen? How can we make that happen? So if you could share some do's and don'ts from your experience around that, that would be fabulous.
And just remember as well, your podcast called Make Change Fun and Easy. So I
Yeah.
will remind myself, because it isn't always easy once you are an entrepreneur, or even, I was in corporate, right? It's not always fun and easy. And sometimes we have to actually remind ourselves, why are we actually doing this? And are we doing this? Do we have a strong enough why, right?
Yeah.
Is it worthwhile getting out of bed? Can I make the impact that I want to make? This is so foundational. And I've noticed when I was in corporate, I was like a zombie. I would get up in the morning, go to work, do my work, come home, have dinner, go to sleep. Next morning, same thing. But at some point, I was like waking up, thinking, why am I doing this? Well, I'm just going to work to pay my bills, and I'm not even around to actually enjoy my house. Now, that was obviously pre-COVID. Now things have moved on a little bit, and there are different challenges because all of a sudden you have family and you're working from home, and now all of a sudden the time management and everything else, distractions are going on as well. So it is a challenge, and it is a very good question. So even I had to work through this, and COVID has been a kind of spanner in the work, because I was so growing my two businesses and then having to homeschool as well. And it was really, really exhausting. So I decided for myself a couple of things. Number one, it's to prioritize and really kind of listen to my intuition around what are things that I truly love doing. Those are going to stay on my list of to do. But there may be even some tweaks and sort of amendments around that, because sometimes I was doing things with, of course, the things I love doing, but I also kept myself a lot busy, and I may have not gone and did did it easy, like just a straight route. Let's say I would kind of, follow some systems, processes, or have some tools in my business which were just complicating things.
Yeah.
So I actually eradicated some of that. So it was almost like I did a bit of a declutter around the projects I didn't want to do anymore, and that didn't yield the result, or I wasn't just aligned anymore. And I was like, okay, probably just park it. It's great because I'm sure everyone, especially entrepreneurs, they have like bazillions of ideas and they want to all you do all this stuff. Um, but it's just sometimes we gotta sort of rein ourselves back and
Right.
say, okay, is it really gonna bring me to where I want to be?
Mm.
For example, I was also author of 3 books. Like I want to share inspirational stories. That's where I went out to get 75 different stories, and of course, it was a lot of work in authorship and books. That's not my income stream, really. I wouldn't call it. There is income, but it's not my income stream as such. But again, for me, it was like a project where I really wanted to make a difference in the world, which I did. So there are those types of projects as well, which I
Yes.
did and plus it helped me to network, to get out there and really make that impact. So priorities is number one, connect the purpose with your, then prioritize, declutter. Declutter, again, how many emails have you subscribed to? You get gazillions of emails every day that you have to go and delete. And it could be overwhelming to go and sort of remove yourself from a gazillion of, emails. So every day when I get an email that I'm like, okay, do I still value this email? Do they keep on selling? Or do they send me value? Okay, I'll make a decision. So every day I probably unsubscribe from 2 to 3 emails. So it's just clearing that space as well
Yes.
makes it so much clearer. And then I also have a little routine where, well, we all know probably what should be journaling and meditation. And of course, it's sitting at the desk for many hours.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting any younger. So I do feel that my body is like aching. I do need to have my exercise time and my downtime and
Mm.
understand and have experienced when we have a quiet time and when we look after our bodies, we will be actually more productive, believe it or not.
Yes. That is
You
so
get the
true.
answers intuitively when you start listening, when you start taking those breaks, because of course we all think we gotta do, but sometimes it's really about taking a break. And
Yeah.
I'm probably the worst person to say that because I'm so project driven as a project manager in corporate. It's like I'm thinking in boxes and steps and things like this. But I do recognize there's definitely sort of energy and tap into your energy and making sure you replenish yourself on a continuous basis.
Yes, there's actually a lot of research that supports what you're saying. And I mean, one can think anecdote. When you can think back to your own experience and think about how much of a difference that made. But there's actual research that shows how important it is to have downtime, quiet time, where you're not really on a mission to get something done, because the brain needs that kind of down quiet time in order to do deeper processing of all the information and data that it's actually constantly being assaulted with. And if you don't get that downtime to do that deeper processing, it actually compromises your level of intelligence. Your level of intelligence drops because intelligence isn't just about having lots of knowledge or what you have already learned in the past. A huge aspect of intelligence is about being able to continue to learn and grow and make like process the information that you learn and receive in ways that you can then use it to do something useful and helpful. And so if you don't have downtime, you can't do that deeper processing. It's like you were saying, when you have that downtime, oh, the answers begin to come. you know
Mhm.
why
Especially in the shower, which is
exactly.
interesting, isn't it?
Exactly, because you've finally given yourself that opportunity, your brain the opportunity to do that deeper processing, where it can then come up with, oh, here's an idea, and here's a connection we just made, from this is what we learned before, and this is what we learned now, and just to be able to put things together.
Exactly, and it's so
Yeah.
true.
Mm. So another thing um, you know mentioned, like especially in the context of when you were in the corporate world, being project driven, but I imagine in that context you were working with teams. You're not working alone, and that allows for different possibilities when you have teams of people working with you, around you, because it opens up possibility for collaboration. You don't have to do everything by yourself. um, can you talk a little bit more about that, like the power of collaboration, of teamwork, and how that can be helpful?
Hmm. Yeah, sure. And I would like to use it in the context of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Um, so I am a very much of a team player, and I think a lot of people actually are. And when they start in entrepreneurship and they had their own business, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm on my own. I've got to wear so many hats, and I need to now get to know about social media, about finance and accounting and marketing and delivering stuff as well. So all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, there's so many things I should be doing. I need to learn, and that actually causes massive overwhelm. And it could be a lonely path as well, because obviously, we have self-doubt when things aren't working out. you know Maybe there's some people around us that say, well, actually you should get a proper job again. Right? So all these things come toward us, and that's made me think, well, what about collaborations,
Yeah.
where I work with others who may feel
Mm.
the same way. So I started off with networking, basically. Just did some online networking, ran online networking events. That was again way before COVID. And when COVID hit, everyone's like, oh, we're gonna do Zooms now. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. I've done Zoom calls for years already. We've done online networking for years already. So it was quite funny. Through the networking, I met people who could do complementary things, and we were all in the same boat, and that's where it all
Yeah.
started. And one of the ideas I've had during COVID was actually creating this empowerment portal where a range of different coaches could actually go and deliver their services into corporates. And that's where the whole collaboration has started. um, I didn't, I don't think there is a handbook around collaboration. There's probably do's and don'ts around teamwork, and they were probably, apply towards that. But then, you just go and experience quite a lot, and then you realize, okay, this, for example, if you collaborate on a project that has financial impact, you need to be super clear around who does what,
Yes.
right? What are the expectations? What
Yeah.
are the financial shares? What should be the outcomes, and what are the inputs and everything else? So there's so much to actually remember.
Yeah.
But I would say it's so worth it, because it's so much more fun to have someone to discuss with and bounce ideas off. And when you have a bad day, you can, of course, get on a call, and you'll feel better again, because that's
Yes.
what teams are there for.
Yeah, that's right. And thank you for mentioning, this, the for sure, there's amazing benefits to collaboration, but it can for sure come with challenges as well. Just like you said, like for example, if people don't get clear and about who's going to do what. And one of the things that I have experienced is that it's not enough to just get clear by just talking about it. You need to actually put things down on paper.
Yeah, you want to write this down. And yeah, and this is where I guess why project management skills comes in quite handy, because that's what I'm thinking in processes. I'm thinking in, project plans and roles and responsibilities, um, timelines, action logs, and all this kind of stuff is absolutely so valuable to have
Yeah.
those things in place.
Yeah. Can you maybe share another challenge that people might run into when they try to use collaboration as a strategy? Because I personally love it. I love the idea of collaboration. I love doing collaborations. So I would love to have you share your wisdom around, well, what are some challenges we can run into? And then, of course, we will talk about what we can do about it.
Yeah, so one of the, I think, main challenges is to pick your collaborator or your partner. Okay, so it has to be the right partner, and there may be a few criteria that you might want to think about. But one of the main criteria, I would say, from my perspective, was the fact that the collaborator had complementary skill sets.
Mm,
So, and wouldn't tread on each other's toes
yeah.
much, let's say, um, and that we had the same vision,
Right.
and the vision was beyond what we could do on our own, because together we're so much stronger. We
Mm,
can leverage each other's skill set and network, and we mustn't be thinking in like scarcity in terms of
yeah.
we
Mm,
taking away from each other, or
yeah.
we're competing or
Yeah.
anything like that. So that's so foundational. That's
Yes.
like the human side, and the vision side. If that there's no alignment, then it's really it's not going to work. It's really not going to work.
That's right. Because collaboration by definition is, coming together in a way where you're striving for win-win solutions. And that is a very different mindset than a competitive mindset. Because a competitive mindset is not a win-win mindset. A competitive mindset, by definition, sees things in context of win-lose. It's like if I win, then you have to lose. In order for me to win, you have to lose, or someone has to lose. And my gosh, that's just a very, very different energy than when we talk about collaboration and we're thinking about win-win. Could you
Mm.
maybe give an example of like where you applied this kind of win-win collaborative thinking, like a more concrete example of who did what that allowed for a win-win kind of uh,
Mm-hmm.
solution?
I've got an excellent example, actually, because so when we've been building the empowerment portal for 2 years, and we've got about 30 collaborators in this pool. So that it takes, they're all putting in sweat equity. They're not being paid, right? So everyone's pulling on the start on the same string. Basically, we're all in it together in the same boat with the same vision. So it takes got a lot of leadership to set this up and to connect with the following, and sort of instill that kind of mindset
Yeah.
amongst the whole collaborator pool. And I guess another, I mean, obviously, there could be much smaller collaborations with just two people, and you wouldn't have such an organization
Yeah.
around it. But if you have a bigger pool, the next thought is, how well are they equipped and how well do they know about collaboration? So one of the ways we collaborate is on delivery, but also on business development.
Uh-huh.
And so because it's my company and my vision initially, they need to understand what's behind it. So
Right.
they need to fully immerse themselves and understand what the products and services are,
Yeah.
so that they can be like mini me's and clone them in essence, with their own spin, obviously, right? We're all unique human beings, but in essence, they need to be equipped and confident in order to go out and sell this collaborative platform.
Yes.
And that takes a lot of work on my side, actually.
Yeah.
So we created all kinds of different courses for the collaborators, because not everyone was equipped with, okay, we've had marketing material they can now use, obviously videos, website, brochure, and now they're trained to do presentations around that. But then on the other hand, we have business development getting into corporates, and
Yeah.
they were just not very well equipped. So we
Yeah.
did a course around that for them. So again, we have a collaboration, which is a two-way street, because I give what I know,
Yeah.
and then they in turn do the business development, and they get rewarded also according to like a commission as to what they bring through. So it works all around. But it is a learning. So it wasn't
Yeah.
something I had set up from the
Yeah.
beginning that I didn't know that was needed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an excellent example and an excellent point about um y- y- everyone may not be on the same page, they may not have the same level of skill, but we can still work together, and there might be, this learning curve that we have to go through as a team, in order to get everyone on the same page. That is so cool. Yeah, awesome. Okay, are there any other big challenges that you can see that might be helpful for someone to be aware of as they begin to or dig deeper into this collaboration strategy?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess one thing, there's probably a few things I just want to sort of finish off with. One is, you want to consider, is collaborating actually for me?
Mm,
And why would I want to collaborate, and on what would I want to collaborate? What do I want out of the collaboration? So be very careful before you go into it, because obviously it takes commitment. It's a relationship.
right.
It is literally like getting married to someone, and you have commitments,
Yeah.
and you need to keep that relationship up. You have to have an open communication and be honest. And there may even be pit stops, like a milestone, say after 3 months, let's see overall how is it going for us. And then there could be potentially even an exit plan, because not all collaborations work very well, and you can't force it. So there's got to be some open, fair communication, otherwise it turns sour, and we don't want that. So
That-
that's one major.
yeah, and that was an excellent point. Can you give me an example of like when you said make sure collaborations for you? What kind of scenarios or situations might there be where collaboration is actually not a good idea?
Um, Sometimes I guess you don't know before you get into collaboration. You could find yourself collaborating with someone who then doesn't do what they said they will be doing, or they don't quite have the qualifications, or are not working towards your standards in terms of the quality of the delivery or handling certain situations, and it just sort of could be one-sided. um, I guess even before that, before you get into that sort of scenario, it's about just ask yourself, why would do I want to collaborate? How would I want to see the collaboration ideally, and then just lay it out before you approach anyone or sort of have further conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, because you may yourself may not be in a mindset where you're ready to collaborate. That is so true. So true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that amazing wisdom and those amazing tips. Do you have anything else you would like to share? Because we're sort of coming towards the end of our time for today. But yeah, any last thoughts that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been sort of going down the route of because coming back to make change fun and easy. Okay, it's about really thinking about the context of your business in terms of what are you doing right now?
Mm,
Is it yielding the results?
mm,
And just critically look at the different components. Maybe the foundations may not be right. Sometimes I'm always sort of saying to people, sometimes their message isn't right, their offer isn't right, and then they keep on going round and round in loops, and it's so super frustrating. So in that time, like, don't even think about collaboration, because it will just amplify. If the offer is not right, it'll just not work either, even
right.
in collaboration with someone else. um so yeah, and if anyone's kind of interested in at this time of whatever business journey you're on right now, there may be some things that you might need support with, or you're stuck with. Certainly the collaboration is something that we will be doing potentially some courses around, because it seems it becomes more and more popular. People want to know and they want to grow exponentially, and they can't do this on their own. So there's definitely different sort of levels within that My Quantum Growth Academy that people can sort of come and do some basics around their offers and their message and how to get out in the first place without obviously doing any sort of complicated tech or Facebook ads and things like this. And then I have second level where we're taking this obviously a notch up with regards to joint ventures, collaborations, and really scaling. But as you can see, it is a journey. You need to have the foundations right in order to go to the next level. So I'm just positioning where the collaboration fits from my perspective.
Yes.
I wouldn't have had a collaboration from day one. Actually tried. I did try actually. When I started my business, my online business, I tried to create a platform, a course, an online course, someone who had been in business for many years.
Yeah.
She knew everything about the whole online marketing, and I was a newbie back then. That's about 10 years ago now. And that collaboration just did not work out because we weren't on the same page.
Right. Right.
So there's another good example around when is collaboration good and when not. It's when you're on different levels of sort of
Yes.
journey or skill set.
Yeah.
It might be very hard.
Mm, that is so true. And I also especially loved your highlighting um oh shucks. I just lost thought.
Well, it's probably a good time to close.
Yes, indeed, indeed. But for sure, you shared so many amazing and helpful thought, aspects of this, that there's so many different threads that I could lift. But for sure, I think for right now, we will go ahead and wrap up. And um, by the way, for all of you who are listening, please know that we will be putting Sabine's links in the show notes. So if you're looking for some support, some guidance on how to do collaborations more and better, if you're looking for help and guidance around, just how to be a bit better business person and create multiple income streams and manage them more effectively, any of that kind of stuff that we've been talking about today, please connect with Sabine. Make sure you check those show notes. So with that, basically, I will just say I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy until we connect next time.